What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel and welcome back to the video. Today I'll be previewing Junior Motorsports as we head into the 2025 NASCAR Xfinity Series season. So anyways, let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. The first driver we're talking about from Junior Motorsports is Justin Allgaier. Justin Allgaier will be back behind the wheel of the number 7 car in 2025. Justin Allgaier had a really solid year in 2024, picking up 2 victories, those coming at Darlington at Michigan. He had 10 top 5s and 20 top 10s, and the biggest thing of all, he comes into this season as the defending NASCAR Xfinity Series champion. After 6 or 7 times making the Final Four, he was able to finally pick up that first NASCAR Xfinity Series championship last season in 2024. Now, what are the expectations for Justin Allgaier going into the 2025 season? Realistically, the goal is to try to go back-to-back. The last time someone went back-to-back in the NASCAR Xfinity Series was when Tyler Reddick went back-to-back from 2018 to 2019. And I think that he has a really good chance and opportunity to get it done. Justin Allgaier is really good at pretty much every type of track. He's pretty underrated at super speedways. He's really good at the intermediate tracks, a really good short track racer, one of the better road course racers in the field. I think Justin Allgaier is going to have a really strong chance and opportunity to get at least a couple victories in 2025. I think he wins around 2 to 3 races most likely, and I think there's a really good chance, just like 2024 and like many times before, I think that Justin Allgaier has a really great chance and a very good opportunity to go back to the championship 4 and potentially become a 2-time champion in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I think Justin Allgaier is going to be one of the biggest forces to be reckoned with throughout the 2025 year. I think Junior Motorsports is also going to be stronger in the 2025 season, and I do think this number 17, especially with Jim Pullman most likely being the crew chief once again for this car, I really think that Justin Allgaier is going to be a major threat and serious contender for the championship once again, and I think they're going to bring the pace and speed that Justin Allgaier is desperately going to need to potentially go back-to-back. So I expect a very strong and really, really great season for the number 17 going into the 2025 campaign. I think he will be a major threat for the title, and I think the number 17 is going to be fast and quick enough. I expect Justin Allgaier to have a really good chance and opportunity to go back-to-back, and I think he will definitely be a contender to make the championship 4 in 2025. I expect him to be a major championship threat and contender at Junior Motorsports this upcoming season. The second driver to talk about from Junior Motorsports today is Connor Zilisch. Connor Zilisch will be joining the NASCAR Xfinity Series full-time in 2025, driving a number 88 car for Junior Motorsports. He will also be going for the Rookie of the Year honors in 2025, trying to be one of the youngest Rookie of the Year winners in NASCAR Xfinity Series history. Now, Connor Zilisch made a couple select NASCAR Xfinity Series starts for Junior Motorsports in 2024, and he got 1 win in his NASCAR Xfinity Series debut at Watkins Glen. Not only that, though, but he also won the pole for that debut at Watkins Glen. And in the other 3 starts that he ran, because he only made 4 starts in 2024, he had 3 top 5s and 3 top 10 finishes, with his worst finish being around 11th or 12th. Connor Zilisch is absolutely the real deal, and in my opinion, probably the best prospect we've seen come through the NASCAR ranks, probably since Kyle Larson came around, or even Kyle Busch or Joey Logano came around. There is a lot of potential. This guy's won Rolex 24s in the LMP2 class, also won a Sebring 12 Hours in the LMP2 class as well. It doesn't matter. He has been extremely strong as a young driver, and I think that he'll be good. We do not know who the crew chief is currently at the moment. My prediction is Andrew Overstreet will be the crew chief, considering Andrew worked with them in the few races that he ran in 2024. Now, what are my expectations for Connor Zilisch going into 2025? I think he's going to be a major championship contender, and I think he will win a few races for sure. My prediction right now is that Connor at least gets 3 to 4 victories in 2025 because of how good he is on road courses. He is going to be the man to beat on road courses throughout the 2025 campaign. He's been the strongest guy on road courses in the few races that he ran. Could have won his Truck Series debut as well with Spire, but I think he will be able to get at least a few victories for sure in 2025. My other prediction is he will be your Rookie of the Year winner. I think Connor Zilisch will go on to win the Rookie of the Year this year. I think with the wins, and I think he will get it done there. And I also think he will make the Final Four this year. That might be bold for a young rookie, but if there's a young rookie that can absolutely do it, it is definitely Connor Zilisch. He's really a guy that I think is going to be a major threat for the championship this year, and I really think he's going to bring his A game, and I think he's really going to bring the pace and speed that he's desperately going to need to contend for the championship. I think his 88 team is going to be strong, and I think he'll be very fast and be a serious threat and serious contender. I expect him to be a major threat and contender for the championship. Watch out for Connor because I think he's going to be very fast and really good in 2025, this upcoming season. The third driver that we're talking about from Junior Motorsports is Carson Quaffle. Carson Quaffle will join Junior Motorsports full-time in 2025, taking over for Sam Mayer, who will go over the Haas factory team, as Carson Quaffle will take over the number 1 car for Sam Mayer in 2025. Now, Carson Quaffle 2024 made some select NASCAR Xfinity Series appearances, made around 10 or 11 appearances, I believe, in 2024. And while his stats are not as good as Connor Zilich's, he still was pretty impressive at times. He had 3 top 5s and 4 top 10 finishes. And he could have won a few races in 2024. I go back to Michigan where he kind of finished near the back of the pack, but remember, it was because of field strategy that cost him a shot at going for the win there, because he was actually leading near the end of the race at Michigan. You go back to Martinsville and Dover, he was a major threat in but a major threat in those races, and nearly won at Dover in his second start. Now, what are the realistic expectations for Carson Quaffle in 2025? I think he's going to be an outside championship contender. I don't think he's going to be as strong as Connor Zilich or Justin Allgaier are going to be, but I do think when it comes to short tracks, because we know he's one of the best short track racers in the country, kind of like Lane Riggs is, I think he will be a championship contender at least for the short track side of things. If he's in that round of 8, and you look at Martinsville, for example, track he's been really good at in the lower series, watch out, because I think he could honestly go out there and make the Final 4. I think realistically, round of 8 should be the goal for Carson going into 2025, and I think he will have a really good chance and opportunity to definitely do that. We don't know who the crew chief is currently at the moment for Carson Quaffle. We'll have to wait and see who they choose. It could be Adam Wall. It could be Marty Lindley. We don't know if Marty Lindley is going to be following Sam Mayer over the Haas factory team. So I'm going to predict that Marty Lindley will be the crew chief for Carson next year, which Marty Lindley is a really good crew chief, by the way. So I think it's going to be a really good year for Carson. Realistically, like I said, I think he will be an outside championship contender. I think he's going to be very fast. I think he's going to consistently be a top 5 and top 10 threat on a week-by-week basis. And I think he will get a couple victories this upcoming year. My prediction is he gets at least 2 victories this year, and I think he easily will make the round of 8. I expect him to be very, very fast, super, super quick throughout the 2025 campaign. I watch out for Carson because I think he's going to be good enough to be a major contender for the championship in 2025. With Junior Motorsports this upcoming year and upcoming season. And the fourth final driver that we're talking about from Junior Motorsports is Sammy Smith. Sammy Smith is back behind the wheel, I believe, in the number 8 car for the 2025 season. Now, Sammy Smith was probably the weakest link of the 4 drivers coming into this year. He only picked up 1 victory in 2024, and that came at Talladega Superspeedway, which propelled him into the round of 8. He had only 7 top 5s, but did have 16 top 10s, to be fair. If you go back to 2024, he was probably the 3rd of the 4 drivers at the team. Sam Mayer and, of course, Justin Allgaier were the 2 better drivers at the team, but Sammy Smith was definitely better than Brandon Jones. Now, we don't know who the crew chief is. I'd have to predict maybe Adam Wall, who I think took over for the final few races, might end up being the crew chief for him in 2025. We're just going to have to kind of wait and see. Now, what are my realistic expectations for Sammy Smith going into 2025? Well, I do think Sammy Smith will be the weakest link of the Junior Motorsports cars, and I'm not exactly sure if he is going to make the playoffs this year. He barely made the playoffs in 2024 and was one of the more disappointing drivers in the NASCAR Xfinity Series this past year. I'd probably say one of the 2 or 3 most disappointing drivers throughout the 2025 campaign, probably up there with Haley Deegan and a couple other drivers like Brandon Jones as well. But I think that Sammy Smith will be the weakest link at this team in 2025. That being said, I think he'll be a little more consistent. I think it will score some more top 5s, and I think he'll score a few more top 10s. I think he scores maybe around 20 top 10s and maybe 18 or 19 top 10s, and probably around 10 top 5s. Will he make the playoffs, though, based off that? We'll have to kind of wait and see. But I think the big thing for Sammy is he has got to be closer to his teammates next year. He's got to be up there with Justin Allgaier more consistently, and Connor Zilich more consistently, and Carson Quaffle more consistently. You can't be running in the middle of the pack and struggling and making mistakes. And you can't do what you did at Las Vegas, where your team didn't bring you down pit road and cost you a shot really at a championship at that point. You can't rely on tracks like Martinsville running very, very good. You've got to be good all around at every type of track. You can be good at super speedways all you want, but you can't just be good at those types of tracks all the time. You got to be good at a lot of different variety of tracks if you are going to contend for a championship in this series. That being said, I do think Sammy Smith's got a good chance and opportunity to make the playoffs. It's very close between him getting in and some other drivers, but I do think Sammy Smith could have a solid year, but I do think, like I've already mentioned and said, I think he will have a decent and maybe a little more of a consistent year than he's had in prior years in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2025. So those are the full-time drivers. Let's talk about the 5th car from Junior Motorsports. It could be changed to the number 8 car for 2025, but also they could be using the number 9 car as the All-Star car for 2025, because Junior Motorsports has ran a 5th car over the course of the last couple of years. If this car does show up, I expect drivers like Shane Van Gisbergen, Kyle Larson, maybe Kyle Busch, Connor Hall, and Chase Elliott to be potential candidates, and even Roger Karuf as well, and maybe Carson Hocevar too. SVG, I think, will make some Xfinity Series starts at JRM, considering Trackhouse is working very, very closely with the program now. I think he'll make starts there. Depending on what Hendrick Motorsports does with their program, especially with the 5th car, I could see Kyle Larson getting behind the wheel and running a few races with this car. Connor Hall being the guy who's going to be driving Junior Motorsports' late model car, I think he'll get behind the wheel. And then Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch are 2 other drivers that I think could also get behind the wheel, but I think you'll see a 5th car from Junior Motorsports next year. And then, of course, the big elephant in the room is them going Cup racing. There's been all this talk and conversation about Junior Motorsports making the jump up to Cup. We're going to have to wait and see if they actually decide to make this jump right. I think we all would love to see Junior Motorsports make the jump up to the NASCAR Cup Series. Could they happen in 2026? It's certainly possible. It really depends on the charter agreement. But I think NASCAR, if they wanted to give out a charter, they could easily do it for Junior Motorsports, especially with Dale Jr.'s influence. And also, Dale Jr. did say if an investor came in, like the Steinbrenner Group, who's been talking to Dale Jr. apparently, we could definitely see him get in. But I think there's an outside chance you could see him potentially get Junior Motorsports in Cup in 2026, which I think is outside chance of possibly happening in 2026. So, that is going to be for the Junior Motorsports Preview for 2025. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. List description below that, and comment your thoughts below on today's video. What are your expectations for Junior Motorsports headed into 2025? If you want my expectations, I think 3 of the 4 drivers from JRM, probably Justin Allgaier, Carson Quaffel, and Connor Zilisch are probably all going to be championship contenders. Well, I think Sammy Smith is going to lag behind just a little bit in 2025. But let me know your expectations for Junior Motorsports going into the 2025 campaign. Let me know below. There won't be more videos most likely dropping on the channel today. Tomorrow on the channel, we are going to basically be doing some teams, drivers that could break out in 2025. We also could be doing some other videos like top 10 teams in the Cup Series and probably be doing drivers who need to step up. And I might be having some silly season stuff dropping really soon on the channel. So anyway, and we'll probably talk about Haley Dean, Carl Lewis, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, all those people, you name it, on the channel. Bubba Wallace 2 and 2311 and the lawsuit on the channel very soon. Expect that coming soon on the channel. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.